All right, the song we're gonna play is by Cavelli White called "Go Casey." It's a StripperCoin song.
Cavelli, Cavelli. Yo, Cavelli, come off the club, man. Been here all day. Casey ain't even here no more, bro. Get out the club. Cavelli, we got shit to do, man. Cavelli, Cavelli.
Go Casey, do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, bust it like you hit the floor and get some money in the spit. No, you should've come faster, cause you can't have her. You gon' have to wait and celebrate after. She is presently captured, alright? My friends and I are paying for her masters, and I am a bachelor for the last night. And I can't leave without bragging rights. And that ass is nice, she's so sweet with a tad of spice. So hot, give me a bag of ice. It's like she illuminates through the flashing lights. Money everywhere, like bags of rice after the wedding cake. When I leave her, I'm detoxing for 7 days, 11 different ways. But hey, you're my favorite hustler, and I'm your favorite customer. And I like the way you bust it, let me go crazy. Go Casey, do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, bust it like you hit the floor and get some money in this bit. Go Casey, do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, bust it like you hit the floor and get some money in this bit. Go Casey. And I like it a lot. So excited, inside at the spot. And I like it a lot. So excited, inside at the spot. Yo, the VIP on lock, and she got me on lock, and I didn't wanna go, but she know I probably never go if she don't stop. She say come see me again, catching my ego drop. I tipped her another Cino spot. Yeah, waving the slim as I'm leaving the spot, like I should've stayed for 3 more slots. Go Casey, do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, bust it like you hit the floor and get some money in this bit. Go Casey, do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, Casey. Do your shit, bust it like you hit the floor and get some money in this bit. Go Casey. You're my favorite hustler, and I'm your favorite customer. And I like the way you bust it, let me go crazy. Go Casey. You're my favorite hustler, and I'm your favorite customer. And I like the way you bust it, let me go crazy. Go Casey. And I like it a lot. So excited, inside at the spot. And I like it a lot. So excited, inside at the spot.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to StripperCoin Twitter space. Don't forget to retweet this out. Let's get a few more people in here if we can. Hopefully that song sounded okay. I'm kind of running it ghetto today, so we had to play it through the speakers into the phone. So I'm sure it wasn't perfect. How you doing, Polly? How you doing, Mind?
Hey, I'm doing good. I'm happy to be here with y'all.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm chilling. About to make some food. So I'm excited.
All right. Oh yeah, we should have Shaggy rolling up here through soon. I know he got called into work a little bit late, so hopefully he can make it as well. Fill some of the space. I think Cavelli said he'll be by, if we're going for any decent amount of time as soon as he can be. So I see Brandon down there. Shout out Brandon. I see my wife Queen D and Seth Too Saucy. Shout out to everybody who showed up and is representing down here. But yeah, today we're going to pretty much talk about PolyAnnie on board to release some of her art onto Exchange. We're going to talk a bit about her presentation and what she's doing at NFTNYC, and we'll talk a little bit about our plans for Exxxotica. Before we get into that, I do want to let everybody know we do still have some NFTs available over on Exchange. So don't forget to go check it out. We've got a few of the Stephanie love strip sales, so you can buy it with StripperCoin. We've got 39 Chick Pass left, Chick Pass collector's cards, and we've got 37 of the strip tails going down. And specifically, those strip tails I think are really cool. It comes with some music to it, and it's a comic book, an erotic comic book that was put together by One-Eyed Willie. So definitely go check that out. But rolling over into it, Polly, I know you're going to be presenting at NFTNYC. So, yeah, how you doing? And you want to tell people a little bit about yourself before we get into the meat and potatoes?
Yeah, for sure. So, hi guys, I'm PolyAnnie. A multidisciplinary artist and currently adult content creator and erotic artist for the last 5 years. I am super passionate about NFTs, got into NFTs in 2020 after dealing with like a bunch of online censorship and losing big accounts and losing I lost a whole body of work where I did 130 days of consecutive live yoga and hula hoop practice and played music. And so it was like this whole goal of like personal development and creating art live and just kind of becoming PolyAnnie. And I lost that whole account on Periscope, and and then lost my Instagram account, and it was kind of like a domino effect of like censorship that happened to me in 2020, like right at the height of like building my brand. I had like 20,000 followers in a really short amount of time, and just lost all of that. And not only that, but also lost all of my recordings and everything. And so it set me on this like whole other path, where I was just on a mission. I was pissed. Like I have, been an artist for a long time, and other before I was so to experience that. I, I don't know. I guess I could have coming, but the human body was so just offensive, and doing anything nude would cause, you know what I mean, such a problem for my work. So I was looking for real solutions, not just like, at the time, everybody's like solution was, well, just create a backup account. And I'm like, that's your fucking solution? I'm sorry, but that's bullshit. That's not a solution. Like, so you want me to do more work? Like, I have to do all of this again and build all of this again? I'm like, no, that's not it. Like, that is not it for me. And so somebody pointed me in the direction of crypto and NFTs. And like, I started looking into it, and I started like learning about holochain. I just went down this rabbit hole, and I just kind of like almost immediately understood it. And I was just like, yes, this is so much better. Let's do this. Like this, it's not perfect, but it seems like this might hold some of the solutions I'm looking for. So since 2020, I've just kind of been really into NFTs, experimenting with them, participating with them. Uh, yeah, speaking about them. So I was at NFTNYC in 2021 talking about adult NFTs. And I attempted to go in 2022, and I actually had 2021 was such an intense year. So 2022, I had on the way to NFTNYC, I had like a really terrible panic attack and had to go home, and didn't make it to the event. And that whole rest of the year, I just had to live with like burnout. And so then, kind of started easing back into things last year. And, I thought that, taking like a year off, I would come back into the space, and that I'd be so far behind. I thought that I was going to be, what I mean? I was going to have so much to catch up on. But then when I came back into the space in 2023, it was like it had digressed even. And I'm like, wow, nothing really, not a lot happened. And if anything, it like things started to like disappear, even it's like we digressed, and I was like, shit. And so I got re-inspired, super re-inspired again, because I'm like, wow, okay, the bar is really low. So, you know, uh I'm just ready to get back into it. So spent all last year, just working with Treat Down and working with Pleasure Network and Front Fans and Mint Stars and um, talking to the people with Spank Chain, and it just got really re-inspired again. And so I applied to speak, at NFTNYC this year about adult NFTs. And so what I'm going to be doing is just kind of like covering the landscape of like the current landscape of adult NFTs. So that was kind of a lot. So thank you for a very long-winded introduction.
Yeah, no, we're here for it. This is a place to give you, a place to actually talk about it and everything you've been working on and doing. I find it kind of funny. I was chuckling as you were talking there, and you're talking about going down the rabbit hole, and after you start finding all these solutions and seeing it, and then over like the years as you've been involved with it, you've seen it digress, you've seen it come back. And I'm kind of seeing the same thing. There's periods where being in blockchain and crypto, I'm just like, I'm looking around and I'm like, all right, we're getting somewhere. We're making room, and we're making headway. And then all of a sudden, it'll be like, I don't know about this, guys. Because it's like this ebb and flow. Sometimes I feel like we're super early in this technology, and who knows what's going to be around 5 years from now. So a lot of the people that we're meeting, Polly, we all met at Exxxotica. That's where we met Brandon down there as well. And these places are great for building the communities and finding the people that are like building the next revolution, at least trying to look for the solutions, because a lot of these established companies, they're not looking for solutions because they've got their bottom line taken care of. They're not always interested in it.
Exactly. And that's what we really need to be doing is finding solutions. And what I'm seeing a lot of now recently in my like trying to like researching adult NFTs specifically is that a lot of the projects that we're doing NFTs are currently moving towards like a subscription sites, subscription crypto sites. But to me, I'm like, we're really not solving, I mean, we're solving some problems, creating more problems that need to be solved. But yeah, the NFT thing just kind of is not doing too much. I know you guys are doing some stuff with NFTs, which is awesome. There's a couple other projects that are like doing stuff with NFTs, but mostly the focus I feel like where people have kind of turned to is towards like these subscription sites, which nothing wrong with that. It's great. We need subscription sites, but it's like, do we really need another like same subscription site? Um,
Yeah.
Good to have
Yeah.
options. There's not a lot of innovation going on, I guess. Like, which yeah.
Yeah, I see the same thing. Pretty much it exists in all of Web3 right now, where people are kind of creatures of habit, right? So they look at the new technology and they go, oh, well, what already exists in the real world that I can just build here with this new technology? And I think the real use cases that are going to just go crazy are when someone figures out how to use it in a new way, and maybe it's still like ticks a few of the old boxes. Yeah, it's still promotion, yeah, it's still content distribution, but it's a new way to do it that does give like more control to the creator, but still also is able to protect them from like malicious fans that because that's the thing you got to deal with and you got to think about. And we don't know that we've found that way. I think it's still waiting to come out of the woodwork with people that are just testing around and experimenting with new cool things.
Yeah, because what has to happen is experimenting. And so, unfortunately, it's like you take the time to build something and then it quickly becomes outdated or it can be improved upon, right? And so, what happened is a lot of funding just ran out, and so it takes a lot. It takes a team, it takes people testing it and using it, to kind of pioneer this way. But that those are the things that have to happen. And so I think some of the problems we can solve is like, how can we continue to have a stream of funding that come in to run these experiments, so that we can try and fail, so that we can figure out how to do it better or different, because we're not going to like hit a home run on our first time up to bat at this. Like, there's a lot of experimenting to do, and there's going to have to be a lot of upgrades. So it's going to have to be very I don't know the word, like flexible, you know what I mean, adaptable. We're going to have to be able to make changes, and sometimes that can be hard. But the beauty of it is, like, we're not OnlyFans big trying to experiment, right? So you know that's like one of the things we have going in our benefit, is that if we can get a really good solid community of people to support this kind of thing, we can do these experiments and see how it goes, and then do it better, and then rebuild. So hopefully, with like more attention in the crypto space now, and the markets being better, hopefully we can get some more momentum going.
Yeah, that's really what I'm hoping on too. No, Polly, I've got a question for you. When you started going down the rabbit hole and checking out all these, cryptos and the blockchains and stuff, I know when I got into it, and I'm in tech, I'm an IT guy, have been for 20 some years now, right? It took me a month or so to read through white papers and decide like which blockchain do I think has a good, a good plan. How did you wade through all of that? Because I know it's when people get into this, they look at this and they're like, man, this stuff is crazy. So, how would you recommend people even begin to look at that, like content creators, artists, etc.?
Yeah, honestly, I did have a mentor. He is an erotic artist, amongst other things. So he was definitely helpful in the early days to be like, hey, look in this, you know what I mean? Check this out. But then, once I kind of started to get my footing with it, and really started to go down the rabbit hole on my own, and didn't need somebody to point a direction, I kind of just used my intuition. If something felt right, I would go towards it, and look into it more. There's lots of blockchains and lots of NFT sites that I just haven't even messed with, because I don't feel that, I don't feel it. So I'm not gonna go that way. Even if it's like trending or whatever, I'll just get to it in my own time. And I've been wrong at times. I've gotten involved with things that were wrong, and you know what I mean, that were rugs, that were bad. I was deceived. So that's not always right either. But I think that's probably the best way to approach it, is that if something kind of like catches your attention, if it feels right, use your intuition and then look into it. And you start to just figure it out. You can't do all of it. That there's, I don't think anyone has enough time to really delve into all of it. So
I've just got to say, leave it to a creative, to an artist, to say, use your intuition on it. I love it. I love it. So can you tell us a little bit about your journey to become PolyAnnie, and the erotic artist and nude painting and all that?
yeah. So before I was PolyAnnie, I taught hula hooping, and did had like a hula hoop performance group and a fire performance group. We traveled across the country. Did that for over a decade. And then my car broke down. So I worked part time, and I had this whole hula hoop gig, which was going really well. After 10 years of doing it, I was making really good money at it, and my car broke down, and I just didn't. It was just time for my life to take a different direction, and so I was hanging out with this guy, and he was like, hey, have you ever thought about doing like, erotic content or erotic art or porn? And I'm like, I was very vanilla at that time. And I'm like, very free spirited, but very vanilla. And I was like, no, actually, no, I didn't. But I do, I did like nude modeling, and did some nude modeling, you know, uh, kind of never told anybody about it, but I really enjoyed doing it. And, you know, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to do it. And we came up with the name PolyAnnie, and I tried to do like the camming thing. That's how I started, was doing live streams. And it turned out that I was a really terrible cam model. Like, I was so awkward. It was so like, it was really like not, it was just a really weird time for me. And so I realized then that maybe just trying to be sexy for the sake of being sexy wasn't my thing, but making art was my thing. And doing yoga was my thing, and playing music and performing was my thing. And so I just kind of made it about that. And so then just started to use my, you know, that platform to explore my sexuality. Just kind of like opened up like, well, I don't even know who I am sexually. You know what I mean? I didn't have any connection to that part of myself. I had always been in monogamous relationships that were really toxic, just, you know, trauma bond stuff. And I just never really explored that part of myself. So PolyAnnie kind of became this outlet, this like alter ego for me to become, you know, the sexual goddess of my own life. You know what I mean? To even understand what that was or what that meant to me. And it's been a really interesting journey. And it's way different than I could have ever thought it would be. And I'm such an advocate for sex workers and for the adult industry now. And, you know, talking to like my mom about it, and my family and my close friends. And I'm like, it's not what you all think it is at all. You know, like, sexuality is as unique to each individual as each individual is, you know, like it's completely different experience for everyone. And everybody should, you know, take some time in their life to explore that for themselves and figure out how they connect, you know, with that part of themselves. So that's kind of how I got, you know, into being PolyAnnie, and how it kind of got to be where I am now with it.
That's really cool. And I know you do nude painting and stuff too. So like, did it take any time to work up the courage to do that on stage in front of people?
Not at all, actually. I think the exhibitionist part came pretty naturally, and I never really felt weird like about being naked or anything like that, or really being vulnerable, because I've been a performer for you know, over 10 years at that point. And so I was used to doing improv performances, and so improv performances are really vulnerable, like you know. And so there's sort of this frame of mind, you get into a flow state, you know, to perform in that way. And so just doing that without clothes on came naturally. And then I even found that, you know, doing the sexy part, you know, came naturally in that environment for me too. It's like I realized that, like, oh wow, when I'm painting, when I'm performing like this arouses me. Like, this is my thing. You know what I mean? Like, this does it for me, you know. And then naturally be like, oh, I'm gonna get myself off now and like squirt on my paintings. Like, you know, so all of it, yeah, it was a really good fit, I guess, once I got into it.
Yeah, that's such a journey. I think it's so cool. I've never really been that artistic as far as being able to draw and stuff like that. You know, I can visualize things, but I just find it so fascinating. People that can, musicians, artists, all of that. I love those people, and I always love seeing the art in person, whether it's music or nude painting. And you know, I've gone back and watched the video of you doing it at Exxxotica. Unfortunately, I didn't see it live, but I love it. I think it's so cool.
Thank you. It was really cool. I had my first Exotica was in 2019, and I went there to do fire dancing, and it was really cool. I got to help them like set up like a good fire dancing thing. Like, I met with the fire marshal and went over, you know, all the things, 'cause that's what I used to do. I used to teach people how to fire dance. I taught people about the safety of it. I would work with like the fire marshals and the fire departments to make sure everything was like up to standards and stuff. And so that's kind of how I got into Exotica. And I'll talk to the fire marshal, and I'll make sure, you know what I mean, everything is done right. So that was like the first time. And then in 2021, I just like kind of had this idea. I was like, I was doing during the COVID lockdowns, during my live streams, like painting live. as like a live performance. And I'm like, you know what? I bet I could do this in front of a live audience, and that would be really freaking cool. And so I pitched the idea to Exxxotica, and they were like, yeah, that sounds cool. Go for it. And I did 5 live paintings at Exxxotica. 3 of them sold. And yeah, that's
You know, your whole like story, everything you're talking about can pretty much go to like when you're a kid, you're growing up, you know, you're always afraid to like ask to do stuff. You're like, oh, there's probably already someone doing it, or you know, but it just goes to show you, just go and like do the thing. Ask if you can do it. Like take that next step. Keep pushing yourself because you never know what it's going to lead to. I mean, that's kind of the story of StripperCoin as well. So I feel it. You know, I feel it.
I love that. I absolutely love it. I feel like I can thank my mom for that. She was always just like, yeah, just go do it. Just go do it. Trust yourself. Your first thought, your first instinct. That's probably right. Um, but that's, I feel like there's a sort of intelligence to that. Like when you don't overthink things and you're just like, yeah, let's just try and see how it goes, like it's probably going to be fine. And if it's
Yeah.
not, we're going to, take a detour.
Yep. A lot of time that overthinking just leads to the anxiety. I mean, I've had that a lot in my life where I don't do something because I overthink it, and it ends up being detrimental. So, and my wife's down there laughing. She's like, "Yep, I know all about that."
Nice. My thing has always been like, what have I gotten myself into now? Like the first time painting on stage, I'm like, what the fuck have I done? Applying to NFTNYC the first 2 times, just like, leading up to it. I'm like, what have I done? What have I gotten myself into now? So this is actually the first, NFTNYC and maybe the first presentation about adult NFTs that I feel like I've really, you know, sort of matured from it just being this spontaneous, like, hey, I'm going to do this and I'm going to, just wing it and see how it goes, to like, wow, I'm really taking this seriously now. And I think after like all these years now, I'm like, I'm so serious about this. And, it's time to get all of these, all of this knowledge, all this experience, all of these ideas out of my head and onto paper and, into some kind of way, that other people can understand and start to really like take it to the next level now.
Yeah, it's really impressive. I mean, I've kind of been seeing in the background of your presentation and everything you're putting together, and it seems almost as if you're starting to become this nodal point between all these various Web3, projects that are trying to push the boundaries. You're gathering all this information on them, and you're networking. And I mean, you've got us all in a chat now, and I don't know how else you start to push the boundaries forward, because we can't all do it by ourselves. Like we're not all gonna win big by ourselves, but if we do start to actually come together and build this stuff out, say, hey, your specialty's over here, mine's over here, let's build some partnerships. It's just really cool to see and see what you're starting to become in the space.
That's cool. Yeah, I've always kind of had that vision too from the very beginning. Like 2021, I did a similar thing. I was like, I made an open call for like anybody interested in adult NFTs. Let's all get on a call. We used to have like a weekly call, and we would just talk about things and how it's going. We would sometimes even do it live on Clubhouse. We would have like meetings on Clubhouse sometimes and talk about this stuff. And I just feel like we're just at that stage, and it's been a really interesting ride, because there's some people who are not, that just do not share that mindset at all. And I just really feel strongly like we can do more if we work together, especially in this space that we're at now, where there's, just mass adoption. It's confusing stuff to a lot of people. It's still new, and I think we could do more if we work together, however that pans out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. The future isn't single chain either, so working together, because every chain works a little bit differently. Not everyone, right? Some of these chains are literally just like copy and pastes of each other. But the major L1s that are out there, they do operate differently. So you're going to have different capabilities on Cardano than you do on Ethereum, than you do on Polygon. And there's going to form partnerships between a Polygon project and a Cardano project. It all just, we have to build it to the point though where it's seamless to the end user, and they don't have to care whether they're on Cardano or Polygon, because that stuff is just too confusing to a lot of people. So it needs to get to the point where it's seamless, and the end user, they don't care. They just know they're clicking a button and they're getting what they want. And there's a lot of, it's going to take, a few more years to get there. But in the meantime, if we're all networking and talking, at least we can start to see like the benefits of what the other person is doing, and that it's not always just competition. Although, I can understand I can understand some of them not wanting to, collaborate and stuff, because there are multiple people working towards very similar goals. So, I get it at the same time.
Yeah, but you know what I noticed though, even in doing this research and in all the participating with the different, crypto projects, is that they all have like a unique thing. Like, and so I just have a very hard time seeing the competition mindset about it, because if somebody invests in like an adult token, or a creator uses an adult site, they often use multiple sites. They have multiple revenue streams. They put their content on multiple sites. I see it being only a benefit for everybody. You're expanding your network. You're expanding your hive mind. You're finding the people who are already interested in what you're doing. You're finding the people who are already into crypto, who, I just only see a benefit in it. So I still have a really hard time with the competition thing, and I think that by working together, it's easier for everybody to stand out on their own, because you can be like, oh, okay, you really zero in on that, you know what I mean, because that seems to be working for you. Like, we're gonna focus, and try to build in this way. And then there's even opportunity in this space for building like tools and protocols for other sites, to be able to use. So that's another thing that I foresee in the future of the work that we're doing, is that, of bringing, all of these different projects together, and these leaders and thinkers and builders together, is that, we can even start to develop, like, not even have to be project specific, but start building tools for, emerging projects to be able to use, which, is a whole nother, just market and business in itself.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's actually a very good point there, building the tools. So, Polly, do you mind any of the projects that you've been collaborating with? Do you want to quickly mention some of them and maybe what their value proposition or what they're working on is?
Yeah, sure. Give me just a second here. I'm gonna refresh my beverage and get my note card, so I have a point of reference. It is Friday night, and I had a nice toke just a bit ago, and now I'm going to try to find my note cards. so,
Yeah.
so I'm going to talk about something else for a minute so I can get myself together.
Well, shit. What are you smoking on? You got legal stuff down there where you're at?
Yeah, yeah.
All right.
I'm Washington.
Hey, so I have
D.C.,
something I wanted to ask you real quick, Polly. So you said you're doing fire spinning and stuff. Honestly, I didn't know all that. Did you ever come up here in Southern Oregon? In Oregon? You know about our culture?
No, I didn't go out there to do any fire dancing, but I did have some friends out there, and I did spend a little bit of time. Um,
Have you ever heard of a Pacific Northwest Fire Gathering? You heard of that?
I've heard of that, and I've never been.
Yeah, that's something to look into. But I'm connected to all the fire spinners up here, Oregon Country Fair. Like, it's just crazy. My brother is a contact fire spinner for a bit. I'll just check in. It would just be funny if we like cross paths at some point. Didn't even know it.
Honestly, it's a small world we might have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think we seen each other one time at with an expo, but you looked familiar. It's all good though.
Yeah, it's actually funny because like there's another nude painter that like we've talked to, and they actually came through Mind there, so it's like
Yeah,
very
that's
similar
cool
crowd.
too. She's a burlesque dancer that turned into a nude painter. That's what she's done. So, but she had done some cool stuff. We got good footage where we ended up. It was cool. I was seeing some kids. I guess we'll talk about this story for 2 seconds. Kind of cool. People I never jammed with in like 10 years in a small town. I go to a hemp fest and I see them, and I'm like, "Hey man, long time. What are you doing?" I'm like, "You bring your guitar?" Because I always bring my drum. They go back into town, bring their guitar back, and then we start jamming. And I'm flying my Joan as I'm playing drums with the nude painter and everybody in a full circle. So it's kind of cool. Small world, man. That's all I gotta say.
Now you just got to tell us when you're gonna have AI play the drums and fly the drone, so you can watch the nude painter.
Right, it's gonna happen here soon. Well, that's one thing we can talk about for a second, I guess. The bot got upgraded. If anyone's checked it out, played around with it, play around
Yeah,
with
yeah.
it. It's
So
cool
so
stuff.
if y'all don't know, if anybody in here doesn't know, we have an AI bot in our Discord. You can go generate NSFW images. We've got a few different models and lures loaded in there, and Mind has been working on upgrades. So check out the Discord server if you want to go check that bot out. I'm gonna grind some weed up here and roll one up myself. You got your note cards, Polly?
No, I can't find them. But I've got most of it in my memory, so I'm just gonna have to let it go. It's one of those times. It's like, they were literally right here. Like, I'm gonna go in later and be like, oh look, there they are, right there in front of my face.
On that note, in a space we were in the other day, somebody said something that I think was very profound. And I want to tell everybody here because I think it's useful. When you're talking and you forget something, or you're looking for something and you can't find it, don't say, "Oh shit, I forgot," or "Oh, I lost it." Say, don't worry, I'll remember it soon, or I'll find it soon. Because when you write it off in your own mind that you have forgotten it, your mind's not even going to keep trying to remember it. And I think that's profound. So hopefully it's useful to somebody.
For real, because if something is lost, it's lost. Like, you
Exactly.
or you do not. Like, it is lost or it is not lost. Like,
Yeah. Or your subconscious ain't even going to keep trying to figure it out or find it or nothing. It knows. It just has to think a little bit harder. What up, Shaggy?
Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone. I fell
Wait,
asleep.
is that Shaggy or Lord? What the?
No, this is Shaggy. I'm sorry. This is my I just woke up voice. I went to lay the little one down for a nap a few hours ago, and dude, baby sleep. I don't know how else to explain it.
I get it,
Hey,
man.
you're doing the right thing, man. When I was with my kid back, that's the only way that I learned is you gotta sleep with the kid. That's the only way to live. If anyone knows that tip, it'll save your life.
Well, we could sit around and talk about the little ones, but I put the rascal away, and I think all y'all have as well. Let's talk adult shit, y'all. I'm fucking lit, man. Let's get ready and nitty gritty about Exxxotica. I know I'm super late. I'm late to my own show, and I'm gonna do this right now. But what the fuck is the update for Exxxotica? What are the ideas? What are the plans? What's going on? Before I dive over to NFT NYC.
Well, that's Polly was actually just going to talk a little bit about all the companies she's going to talk about at NFTNYC, and then I think we'll get into the Exxxotica talk here a little bit.
Let's fucking go.
yeah, okay. So let's go. We're gonna start. All right. So TreatDAO has had an NFT marketplace on the BSC chain. They went through, we've gone through, I've been working closely with TreeDAO for a little over a year now. And we went through some terrible shit where our dev, kind of really exploited the project. So the NFT marketplace is in a shambles. Still, currently, we haven't fully recovered from that yet. The site is back up, but it is not like you can't buy or, really do anything with the NFTs, but at least it is there. It was really great in its time. I mean, it's got Stormy Daniels and Bernie Andrews and all kinds of great people. There's a magazine. We're actually getting ready to release our first print on demand version of the magazine. So yeah, TreeDAO is super awesome. Really small community run project, but really is all about the creators, all about the space. So we're going to be using TreeDAO magazine as a platform also to sort of connect all of these projects and create partnerships and share valuable content. And it'd be another way to get all this information out there and keep it documented. Today's the last day to submit content for it. So we take creators submitted content for that magazine. There's like a theme. Creators could submit content. If it's used, they get treat tokens. Yeah, so this one's going to be our first like print on demand one. It's going to be like e-publish and all of that. So we're making some steps and making some moves there. Pleasure Network has an NFT marketplace called Pleasure Nifty. And it's actually, I think, the only actual functioning NFT adult site that allows creators to kind of like go on there and create their own NFTs. It's still, I guess, gated right now. Not everybody can just like sign up and use. It's like a whitelist thing. You have to apply. They've sort of halted development on it because of, lack of funds and lack of interest in NFTs. But I still really much like that platform. They used to be XXX Nifty, and then they kind of like changed ownership and changed brands to Pleasure Network. So kind of lost my train there, but that was all about NFTs. And then they kind of changed direction towards more of like the subscription content thing. Oh, I know where I was going with that. As XXX Nifty, they sort of did things a little bit. They didn't do things completely right. So like I have NFTs out there that never sold that I don't own that they owned. So that kind of
Oh
sucks.
no.
Exactly. And I'm like, yo, I want this. And I've reached out and I'm like, can you please send me these NFTs? So we're still working on like making all of that right. But now with Pleasure Nifty, they redid the NFT site and they actually did it right. And I will definitely give them credit there. Like when, I have collections on there and they are mine. They mint your own contract. So, even though they've kind of halted or slowed development on it, it's still they're doing it in the right direction, and that's on Polygon. Which I have found though that a lot of like the NFT collectors don't really collect much from the Polygon chain, so I almost feel like that's hurt. But at least I own the NFTs now. Mint Stars is doing some pretty cool thing where they're approaching NFTs and their like content site as like resellable content. They used to have it where you could, transfer the NFTs off of their site, but they've sort of closed that. So now it's sort of like it's all on their site, which I'm not sure how I feel about that. I feel like it kind of puts them on an island. But I still like the idea and I like what they're doing and their approach with it just being resellable content. So, and there's a lot of creator choice. I can, make a post. It could be for subscribers or it could be mintable, or collectible as an NFT, which makes it resellable. So I kind of like that approach. And they also do 100% payouts, which is pretty revolutionary in this space. So they charge the amount, like what they make, they charge on top of like what goes to the creator. So instead of like, say, OnlyFans takes 80% or takes 20%, I get 80%. On Mint Stars, I get 100%, but then they just charge the user more. And I
That's
actually
interesting.
really fuck with
Kind
that.
of like a tax, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. And it ensures that the creator is getting, every bit that the person is meaning to send to them, which I think is a really dope. And I would like to see that adopted all the way around, especially with crypto users, because we pay gas fees. We don't expect anybody else to pay those gas fees for us. So we sort of already understand that. Like, um, I think it's pretty cool. Fantasy Digital is really great. I've really enjoyed, actually really enjoyed connecting with the Fantasy Digital folks. They have been trying to connect with me for a couple of years now, and I have just been too overwhelmed to really connect with them. But now finally connecting with them, it's been a really pleasant experience. They're really all about like listening to the creators, like building for them and giving them choice, like, well, what kind of things do you think would be useful to you? And so we're setting up a Decentraland gallery for NFTNYC and adult NFTs. It's like a 3-story building in Decentraland. We're going to have like presentations. We're going to have a little learning area. We're going to have some videos of the live paintings. We're going to showcase NFT collections. We've got Atomic Blonde here listening. We're going to showcase her NFTs, some of the other creators in the space. Yeah, it's just going to be kind of like it's a really cool event. So definitely look out for that. And we're going to include some, StripperCoin NFTs in there as well. So we're just going to make it like a museum, I guess, a little for adult NFTs. You can kind of go and see some stuff and learn some stuff.
I guess we're technically a sponsor, even though there's no like sponsor sheet, right?
Yeah, I could say you guys are a sponsor. Treat DAO is a sponsor, and Fantasy Digital is a sponsor of my NFT NYC. And I call you guys my sponsors because you guys have gone above and beyond to really support me in my efforts to yeah, just by either collaborations or events like this, talking to me. Yeah,
Yeah, we're always here for people working hard in the space, especially someone like yourself. I mean, I still have in my mind's eye when I first saw you the first time and I was at the booth. And I don't know if you just got done your painting thing or what, but you were rushing to that panel and you came by and you're just like, "Hey guys, we're doing this panel. If one of you want to come up," it's like frozen in my mind's eye. So
Literally. I remember. I remember that. I remember just looking at Slim like, "Yo, she for real? Like, is this actually gonna happen?" And then for like 2 hours, we were just back and forth about the idea, like, "Hey, were we actually gonna be able to do that?" And then trying to rush about, what to talk about or whatever. But yeah, Liv was super awesome and graceful with that. That was actually a really cool presentation. I want to see more from y'all about that. So I'm super excited. Just the fact that you guys are not only taking that initiative, but something as big as NFT NYC. Like not an official sponsor. I get it, but to make it on the ticket, that's major right there, and that's fucking StripperCoin community showing out with that. Big love right there. Shout out to everybody listening. I know we're gonna get a lot of people on the replay, but man, look, that's big. And then second, just the depth of knowledge you have about the adult industry here in Web3. I am just shocked. Like there's been so many projects you've name dropped already I didn't know about, so I'm just soaking all this up, and definitely look forward to meet and connect with more people across all these different chains, bro, because there's so much building we got to do. We're building the whole industry here.
Yeah, as I've been kind of watching your planning happen, Polly, I mean, it's impressive how much documentation you've had to go through to gain all this knowledge, create the slideshow that you've got, and just really put it all in a cohesive manner. So it's really neat to kind of see it all take shape, etc. Now, I know you're going to be doing some kind of POAP, which is proof of attendance protocol, correct? I don't know if you can maybe talk about a little bit about that, because I think this is a really cool concept.
Yeah, so it's a POAP. It's proof of attendance protocol, and you can issue them. They're like NFTs that you can claim for participating in events, which is just that proof that you attended. And so you can have like a whole collection of events that you've been to, talks, classes that you've attended. And this is actually really, really cool because we learn a lot, right? Like when we attend seminars, and a lot of times it's like, well, how do you prove that you know these things? It's like, beyond the old school, education system, this is a way that you can prove that, you've attended, you've listened to, you participated in. If you're into like music festivals, this could be a thing that could be adopted with shows and music festivals. I've been to all these shows, I've been to all these classes, I've been to these events, Um, yeah, I actually wish I would have issued them like for all of the events I did, but I think finally, like was saying, like this time around, I mean business. Like I'm not just like flying by the seat of my pants with this. Like I've actually been working on it every day, and we've been talking about that documentation in the group I have for the prep for the NFTNYC, and just sharing that with that group of people has been so helpful to me. I do an update. Here's what I did today. Here's what I need to do. Here's how it's going. Here's my drafts. Here's my notes. And so I found that to be very helpful for my ADHD brain to like, keep everything organized and stay on track and stay accountable. I feel like by having everybody there, it's keeping me accountable so that we can really take this forward because like you said in 2022 when I tried to go to NFTNYC and I did not feel prepared and I had a panic attack and I couldn't go, and I applied this year and I was like I will not repeat that again. I cannot live with that embarrassment and that disappointment in myself. So if we're going to do it, we're going to do it, and we're going to do what I've really always wanted to do, which is sort of unite the space, grow the space, help, just inspire movement and momentum and fire and motivation and get people excited about it because I never stopped being excited about it. And I feel like the money kind of ran out. And sometimes when the money ran out, people stop caring, but let's keep going and keep things flowing.
Right, I love that you mentioned it like that, and I guess it puts a different spin on things for me. Ain't that right, Slim? I mean, I got here at the bottom of the bear, and it's been nothing but fun. So I can't imagine what it'll be like with an actual bull, and everything in motion for all these different entities in the adult sector here at Web3. I mean, I can't stress this enough how big and important porn and adult content has been in just the development of the internet age and how we kind of interface with that. So I know there's a lot of people who probably have their own feelings about it, but guess what? Feelings and history don't necessarily always agree.
Facts. Definite facts right there. Well, hey, Polly, before we talk about Exxxotica, our plans, etc., is there anything else about NFT NYC you want to mention? Definitely let people know where all they can find your collections at. And then maybe, we'll drop a date for, exchange.
Yeah, absolutely. I know that NFTNYC, I'm going to be doing my talk. They have me scheduled Thursday at 1 p.m., which I think is a decent slot. I was really happy that I'm not super early in the morning. I think that the talk started like 8 or 9 a.m. And so, the whole time I'm like, before they release the schedule, I'm like, please don't put me at like 9 a.m. Like, I'm I've been the opener plenty of times for events, and I like being the opener and everything, but like that's not the place to be. But I'm like, 1 p.m. is decent, that's decent. And last time I went, I just got such a huge response. It was like, after the talk, everyone was like wanted to talk to me. So I really think that a lot of attention is going to be put on the porn and the adult NFT space. So I'm really excited about the connections that are going to come out of it because everyone knows what a big industry the adult industry is, and yeah, so it's just really cool to be reporting on it, and really cool that it's still at such at such a level where, I still could access, most of the projects that are building and doing stuff.
I wonder when that'll change. What up, Gold Rush? I see your hand up, man. What's going on?
Hey, I came in a little bit late to the space, and I realized this is a recorded space, and I realize you're trying to move on to the next. I realize you have like a thing going on, but I wanted to ask PolyAnnie, do you consider yourself to be an adult artist, even though you paint nude? Um, I consider that just to be like a natural, like a performance artist, right?
Yeah, I do consider myself an adult content creator. I have been making independent porn for about 5 years. So
Okay, all right.
that's not at the forefront of really like what I share because I'm an artist first. But I've also explored my sexuality and I enjoy making adult content. And I do have an OnlyFans and some other adult sites, and I even have some NFTs that have unlockable adult content sets that I released in 2021, which were at the time like the first of their kind. Nobody else was really doing that yet. So yeah, that's where I guess the adult part.
It's kind of perfect, because you're at this intersection of the adult stuff and the art, and literally that's how all the blockchain stuff kicked off, was with art, etc. So it's almost like you are perfectly suited for this new wave of artistic adult content, NFT, new world of decentralized, connection with people.
And let me just say how thankful we are here at StripperCoin. You bumped into us and decided to teach us a little bit about just how the ecosystem had got where it was, show us the ropes a little bit, introduce us to people. Like that's what has built us this far, just people on our team, people in our community, and then, people like yourself coming in and just showing us shit, dude. We cannot say thank you enough. I'm be honest, Polly. I actually wanted, as we talk a little bit more about Exxxotica and everything, man, I want you to share some photos from Exxxoticas in the past. Just give some of the people in the crowd a feel for what's going on. I'll pin stuff up to the top. But I'm actually about to drop some of these photos. I spent some time this morning downloading some of them off the Google Drive just to, and reliving them is, it's got me excited. I'm excited to go again. Chicago was crazy.
Yeah, honestly, I remember being in Chicago and seeing your booth and being like, "Oh, they're doing NFTs. We need to know them." And I was like, "Liv, do you care if like can we invite them to your seminar, And she was like, "Of course, of course." And yeah, it was so exciting to see you guys there because I had done so many Exxxoticas and was just like had my little booth with like it was just you guys' booth was so good too, and mine was just like my shitty artist booth like
I,
with
I've,
like
I've, I've got to interject there. Our booth back in Chicago was still, as some people refer to it, as cell phone salesman booth. Our booth didn't get good until my wife designed
It
it.
was so sick, man, with the visuals, like walking around it. I mean, I looked 3, 4 times and I would see it. So don't put yourself down.
it was better than mine. Okay, I'll just say that it was tons better than what I did. So I was so excited to see that representation there, and just seeing that people were like other people were doing it too, and I'm like, yes, we need to know them.
It's an honor, really. And hopefully one of those photos is of the panel so that people can get a feel for how that looks as well, because that was awesome. I'm just scrolling through here. Y'all give me a minute so I can post some stuff. I don't want to leave my mic hot.
Yeah, I can find some pretty cool Exotica photos. That is always a good time. I've really enjoyed doing those events a lot.
Yeah, for me, this will be my third time being to a Chicago Exxxotica, second time presenting at the Chicago one. But if this year's anything like last year was, that was by far the most packed conference. Now, not exactly the most like crypto friendly crowd. Miami by far was way more crypto friendly. But hey, at least we can show them some cool stuff, maybe turn some heads for the people who are willing to listen.
And there's always been people who are interested in it. Like I did, I think 5 seminars, and some of them are really packed. I think Miami was always the biggest. But there are people who have heard of crypto, they've heard of NFTs, they want to learn more. We still got a way to go, but I think we're definitely getting there. Like I had somebody recently accepting submissions for the Treat Down magazine. One of the things on the forum is have a crypto wallet, and they're like, well, I have a Venmo crypto wallet. And I'm like, you know what, that's a good step. Like, of crypto, it's not perfect, it's not going to work like that. I'll send, I'll figure it out, but it's a good step. I think we're getting there, a little bit by little bit.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, for Exxxotica Chicago this year, we've got a house too. I know I've invited you up, Polly, but because it's so soon after NFTNYC, you're not gonna be able to make that. Which you're working hard to spread the news to outside of just Exxxotica and stuff. So, I'm not gonna push you to try to come out there. But Friday night is Ladies Free Night. So if anybody knows someone that's in Chicago or is gonna be in Chicago, they want to bring their girl. Any actual just women just want to come up, show up with their friends. You're having a party or something. Show up. It's definitely a vibe. Everybody's super accepting there. And hey, even if you're more on like the Jesus side of stuff, there's still a booth there about Jesus loves sex workers. So you got some people to link up with. What's up, Gold Rush?
Give it to us, Gold.
I'm sorry, I was replying to your photo. I was swiping back and forth on my phone all frantically I didn't even
swiping.
trying to get back to the app so I can unmute myself. So I had a question for basically the panel up here. I had a discussion the other night with Shaggy Rax here about how porn in general or adult content has been the deciding factor on a lot of technologies. And since we're at the interface right now of, blockchain and adult content, kind of the topic of the conversation, I would assume, even though I missed the beginning of the space, I know what you guys are all doing here. I guess this question is kind of aimed at the man, is that Slim behind the stripper? Anyway.
Yes,
So I was going to ask about midnight and how you feel about, as long as the mailman can't see what's inside that black package that he's sticking inside your mailbox, or going back to, beta was better than VHS, beta was a better format than VHS, but the porn industry picked up VHS. And so what ended up in every household, that tells you what's going on inside people's households right there, is that everybody picked up VHS because it was just that it was cheaper. It was cheaper for these porn makers in these, like old school, the way that they would manufacture the tapes, it was just cheaper. And so it worked out that like every household in America ended up with a VHS video player and not a beta player. The beta was better. Higher quality, all of that. But the VHS is what the porn was on. And so every household in America had a VHS player. And every video store in America had a VHS player. So I just, now I started this off with that black plastic wrap so that the postman doesn't know if you're getting Penthouse or Playboy. He doesn't know if you're buying it for the jokes or if you're buying it for the freaky shit. He doesn't know. He doesn't know what's inside that black plastic bag. Even though I bet that if I was a mailman, I would have figured out by now that like, oh yeah, this is a Playboy and this is a Penthouse. You can tell by the thickness. You can tell by all kinds of things. The smell of it, whatever.
My man said the smell of the
smell of it.
Oh,
that's
wow.
right. That's right. And that's how I know what I'm talking about. But no, I was going to ask about so the intersection of technology, I guess, is something that I would like for you guys to touch on, and then also privacy, and with blockchain everything is transparent. So I was just curious what's in the works to allow me to partake of your goods without offending the gods, that are out here watching, you know what I mean? Like looking at me and shit.
Yeah, man. I'll kind of go first here, and then if PolyAnnie and Shaggy don't mind going afterwards. But I think what we're going to see here is that something like Midnight is going to be essential to the success of it. Because once people realize anybody can see my wallet, see all my transactions, know exactly what I'm doing, you know, you're going to lose a lot of people because people want that privacy. You know, some people are looking at it, you know, when their wife isn't looking, etc. And they don't want to get discovered and caught. And having it in their crypto wallet is definitely an easy way to have that happen. So I think it's 100% essential. But like the analogy with the VHS and the Betamax, I don't know that it exactly applies here. You know, like I think once everything, you know, if you're talking about it in terms of blockchains, right? Like Ethereum, oh, the first porn thing pops off there. So that's just where all the porn's going to be. Because I think we're going to get to a point where the blockchain doesn't matter at all. There's a transparent layer over it. And then there's functionalities that exist on blockchains that are underneath it. So, you know, in the future, you'll be like, yeah, I got so-and-so's NFT. But the functionality of that NFT is what's going to determine which blockchain it's on, and that owner might not even know or care. So I think maybe at the beginning we'll see that, like Ethereum will take off, you know, for porn, and I'm just using analogies or, you know, examples here. But then you're going to have other chains like Midnight or like Cardano that have special capabilities that they're going to find little niche use cases. And once that transparent layer gets built, nobody's even going to think about it or care. And that's kind of my 2 cents there.
I don't actually know enough Gold Rush to put in anything on this. Slim does all the shot calling on this. It's always fun to talk about, and I knew Midnight from the moment I heard about it was going to have some sort of practical application for the adult content side. I totally understand it's got other use cases, and that's primarily what developers are, you know, gearing it towards. But man, just having the freedom of being able to, you know, collect your own and consume your own adult content at whatever pace you want without anybody being able to say anything, judge you or whatever. I think that's going to be really important. Just as like a free, you know, freedom thing.
I mean, the way I see it is like, especially with the NFTs that I made that have the unlockable content, I felt that by doing that, I gave the buyer permission to resell my content. And under no other circumstance would that really be appropriate for like me to sell like a custom video or something like that, right? They can't sell that content. That's pirating. You know what I mean? They can't take and sell my content. But if it's still attached to me and I'm earning royalties, fuck yeah. I think that's a great idea. It makes it ethical. It makes it honest. It's still attached to me. You can see that I was the creator of that content. The user can be anonymous on the blockchain, you know. Um, you know, the problem that we run into with that, I guess, is age verification. You know, you don't know if somebody is, you know, underage that's getting that or buying that or not. But I feel like that can also be solved through the blockchain, and I don't know why nobody's done it yet. But a soulbound token as an age verification, so that you have one. I mean, I would really, really, really love to see this done. Like, you do your age verification, you have a soulbound token in your wallet that proves that you are who you are. And it's like your KYC that you carry with you, so that we don't have to do a KYC on every fucking site and every fucking exchange and every, you know, it's like you do it
And
once.
and if it's like that, right, Polly, it's an opt in. So you just go to the whatever service does it, and then you get your soul bound. Right, I do my
Yeah,
KYC one fucking time.
one
It's in my
time.
wallet. Boom, that's it.
I mean, we're basically talking about that, you know, blockchain identity here, and something like that. It's going to be important to have a product, a privacy blockchain that actually lives on, right? Because imagine your ID. You don't want everybody to know the address that's on it, your height, your like all of that, those details on there. But some people need to know some of that data to verify who you are, like your age and your name or what state you live in. You know, can you file taxes in the state? So you need that identification, but not everybody should be able to read everything on it. So I think that's where this privacy blockchain, and I think it's called something different on Ethereum. It's like ZK. snarks. I forget exactly what it's called, but that kind of thing is going to be necessary to even have age verification function and be any level of efficient, you know?
Right. It's not perfect. It's definitely not developed yet. And you definitely don't want everybody having access to your ID, which is why it would be ideal. Like if there could be some kind of service like that. And then it would be like, well, this token has this certain setting that you can't hold this token in your wallet unless you have, you know what I mean? You have this other token, that says that,
Yeah,
you're
I think as we see governments getting involved more and more, which there's little use cases going on here and there. I think there's a few states that are looking into doing a few things. I don't know where they're at. This is maybe like a year ago that I heard they were starting to look into it, and I know Cardano is doing stuff with I forget what police force that was, some kind of like Interpol African police force. But I think that's when we'll really start to see
Dubai.
a lot of that being pushed forward because the government funding will come in.
It was the Dubai police, by the way.
Thank you.
Dubai police. Gold.
Some people call that self-sovereign identity. I think is and there's also digital IDs, right? So there's DIDs, and then what we would call SSIDs. And one of them kind of gives you the authority, and then the other one kind of gives the granting authority the authority, right? So if I'm going for a driver's license, that would probably be a DID. And then if I want to share my medical records, that would probably be part of my self-sovereign identity type of a setup. I think I got this right. Maybe I've got this way backwards because I've already drank like an IPA, a double IPA, and I can tell it's kicking in. But shit. I thought I had a good point and I lost it. But
Hey, you gave me a new term to research here. I got to look up some of what they talk about with the self-sovereign stuff because I'm familiar with DIDs, but not the self-sovereign concept. So you gave me homework. Shit.
Well, I'm kind of, and also I remembered the point that I was going to make is that eventually there RWAs are kind of like the talk of the town, and so it's RWAs and DPIN. That's
DPIN, yep.
Yeah, and that's what you see at the top of your. You see people talking about RWAs and DPIN all up there all the time at the top of the Twitter.
My homie Scott Fu, my homie Scott Fu, he does a lot of shit with DPIN. I think he works for Peak, which is one of the DPIN protocol users and shit.
Now for DPIN, this probably doesn't ring true, but definitely for RWAs, because RWAs intersect with like the real world out here, real world assets, which means like you're going to be doing business with like a regulated authority through this intermediary. That's kind of like we're going to tokenize it on chain, and then and I'm not here to pitch any of that, but my point to how it relates back to what you're talking about is that for instance, Mihin is about to go live, right? Like this weekend or whatever. So if you want to go register on their site, you're going to need to KYC. And then also, like if you go over to this other place where they're selling, tokenized properties, you're going to have to KYC over there again. And again, being the operative word there. And I could keep going, but like, there's going to be all these agains and agains and agains, and you're going to get tired of that, and you're going to wish that like exactly what PolyAnnie was just talking about existed. You know what I mean? So I think it'll come very quickly as soon as the necessity is realized, because once all these RWA things start coming online, you're going to get tired of KYCing. You wish you just had that token that would just like grant me the fucking authority now, please. Like I'm tired of doing this thing over and over again, And so I think it'll just fall perfectly in line with kind of what is already kind of happening. But I feel like DIDs and self-sovereign identities have maybe they're just working in the background. I don't want to hate on anybody who is working on it. But at the same time, I feel like it's not really what's taking the forefront of like kind of the landscape. But of course, it's also not a sexy subject. It's not like making the blockchain faster or any of those things, right? It's not a sexy subject. So I can see why people aren't talking about or discussing like what's going on with the identities. But I think that's PolyAnnie just touched on a really solid thing. And I believe that eventually, probably within the next 6 to 9 months, we're all just going to be like raging for it if we don't have it already on whichever blockchain we're on.
I'll be real, man. The reason I think that it's not developed, I think there's a few, and one is there's no money to do it because the people that are making money don't actually want to identify the real people because a lot of it is bots, a lot of it's wash trading. One user trading back and forth with himself. So I think that that's not even a focus because a lot of the chains and people making money don't want that. And that's kind of why I said, like, I think it's going to take the governmental, people getting into it with their funding or have a real demand, like a project comes along that gets crowdfunded to build it and then just like takes off,
I only disagree because I really hope porn is the one that pushes for some of this, not regulatory boards and committees, because they tend to be disconnected, totally inept at regulating anything technical. And this is literally all of the things that they're bad at. So I would like to see us as a community, Web3 in general, sort this shit out ourselves, because then it gives us the freedom of not having a government agency come in heavy-handed, not knowing shit, and just walloping us with all sorts of unnecessary shit. And that, we see that happen all the time. Look at what Texas is doing right now with Pornhub. Like, Texas just said that, hey, you gotta identify who's using the site with some sort of KYC, and Pornhub just is like, no, we're just not gonna do
it's not
that.
even, they didn't even ask them to do KYC. They just asked them to put a button that says, are you over
even
18?
better.
That's it.
Golly, bro. But see, the unwillingness of them to do that's kind of shitty of them. Now that
That's what I'm saying.
That's
Right. That's a pretty easy pop up to make. You know what I mean? Like,
exactly.
And I've been lying about that shit since I was since the internet started. Actually, that's a lie because
you got to bust this out like that, Gold Rush. It's all good. We've all been lying about
but
that.
it's an easy button to click. It's an easy button to click. I'm just saying. And actually, I wasn't really a little kid when I was on the internet, to be honest. But at the same time, it was an easy button to click. So anybody could have clicked that button.
Yeah. Interestingly, there are studies that show that when sites do put that up, their traffic drops tremendously. And I can't say I know why. Is it bots? Because are the underage kids really going to go, oh, darn, there's a pop-up. I can't click it now. I mean, I never did that. You never did that. So I think like 99.99% of other people never did that either. So it's a very curious question why that's a thing,
Well, it is a bot protection mechanism as well, because unless you click directly in the center of that box, which is where a bot would click, no human is likely to click in the direct center of that box. So that might have been a bot check from the very beginning. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Maybe that's why they're refusing. Who knows? We could speculate all day. But guys, I got to pull this tier to an end and land the plane because I got to go pick my daughter up. Want to spend some time with the fam. So I kind of want to go down the stage here. And, Gold Rush, you're included here, man. Definitely, I want to hear from everybody up here. What they're hoping to see out of adult NFTs in the next year, and keep it realistic. You know what I mean? If we're going to change the industry, we can't be like, oh, we overtake OnlyFans this year. So, let's be realistic. Polly, if you want to lead off.
Yeah, I just want to see more options for adult NFTs, just more development, more availability, or just so that more creators can get on and have access to creating NFTs that have more functionality, the ability to have unlockable content, the ability to attach physical content, the ability to schedule customs, or, just more functionality and access.
All right, Shaggy or Gold Rush, whoever feels like going first, go, hit the button.
I'm gonna go ahead and go. Okay, so I want to see at this point, man, we have a lot of different utilities we're already able to kind of implement for these NFTs, whether it be exclusive access to OnlyFans or maybe airdrops or whatever. But I would like to see one of these creators, maybe we onboard here soon, start utilizing them maybe for the Exxxoticas themselves or other real life expos. That's what a lot of music artists have tended to do with their exclusive content and exclusive access. They'll utilize it for either discounts for shows or meet and greets or events or parties or whatever. And I really do feel like with the quality of the creators we're able to bring and just the community we have, I feel like that may be like the next step, kind of what Polly was touching on earlier, just bridging that gap between Web 2 and Web 3. I think that this year it's possible for us to potentially pull one of them, a creator that has that in mind already, or one of our current creators, pivoting that direction. That plus just seeing how much we can play around with Midnight. That's really where I see the next year of my time being spent, just onboarding more creators, keep talking about StripperCoin and the rest of the Web3 ecosystem, and then let's see about Midnight. What does that hold for us?
All right, I'll jump in. So I was gonna say like I want to see like 3D content for these fancy ass fucking like glasses that I bought from this company over here. These so just put it right in my eyes, if you don't mind. So if you could include that in the NFT, in the metadata, or at least some kind of link to wherever it would gather that information. You know what I mean? So that like I can just have your lap dance in my face or whatever you're doing for me. Like right here on the new thing that's happening out here. So also, but then you also want the level that's going to be experiential for the consumer at the just strictly without that hardware, right? So you want to, how do you service your customer? But then you want it all to be private. So maybe that's a good Midnight thing, right? And then, track and trace, as far as like, you want to make sure that like this person really did acquiesce to making this video. You know what I mean? We really want this person to be protected, and we want to know that the actual actress in the video or whatever is, not some kind of slave or whatever red room shit. You know what I mean? We don't want that shit, right? That's the bad stuff. And then so you could use the blockchain to track and trace, like all the way down to And the thing is, like over time, as the content that is metadated this way grows, like the body of work grows, that has like a SIP, like a certain like video standard that tracks and traces the entire blockchain, history of like who produced it. So maybe there were one guy who produced like 8 weird videos, right? Or maybe there's a soundtrack that this guy, whatever. You the thing is, you could be able to cross search eventually, maybe on some blockchain. You'll be able to maybe search for a specific piece of the metadata of this video, and then you'll find like, oh, that dude produced these 3, and then like that's where the rarity comes in. That's how collecting porn has always worked, is that you want that rare shit. You want that shit that like people talk about but they've never really seen it. You know what I mean? Like, oh shit, fucking you got that one? You know what I mean? Like, you're a motherfucking freak. It's like, no, I just got it because I traded a dude a couple of some shits, and now I got this fucking weird shit. And like, what the fuck do I do with this? Because I think it could get me arrested. Whatever, I don't know. Anyway, no, I'm joking. Whatever. I'm just.
Hey man, look, mine. I don't know if mine's still here, but we plugged in a fucking drive we found on the floor at one of these conventions. So
Yeah,
we're familiar with the risks.
And then the drive went missing randomly. I'm not saying who's taking it. Somebody's taking it.
Talking about some rape content.
Hopefully, man, I gotta check my bags now. Hopefully, I don't got that.
No, I know where it got to. Drew met up with the people who made it, I believe in New Jersey, and gave it back to them.
He said he lost it. I think he took it personally.
Whoa, whoa,
But
whoa.
that's what he said. He said he was gonna give it to him, but then he lost it, or he couldn't find them, or something. No, he couldn't
Damn,
find
Drew's
them.
a freak, fool. Hey, look,
He
we're gonna
might
bust
have
him
it.
out
He
right
might
here.
have it.
We're gonna bust him out right here. Okay, Gold. This drive.
All right. Good night, guys. I'm gonna bounce out of here.
No, bro, come on.
What?
No. I just wanted to tell you about what we found on this thing. This was the most eye-opening like, see, I'm 25, bro. I thought I'd seen all the porn. I have not seen all the porn. There was genres I was unaware of. And that video, oh my goodness.
He had a
Yeah,
hot girl in it
he's
too,
just gonna
though.
tease you about it. Is what he meant. Is what.
I can't describe it, bro. I'm having flashbacks right now. Mine, go ahead. It was just this
I don't know if you
gorgeous
want
woman.
Oh,
to.
okay. So let's start it off. It seemed like a really nice film. Like we had a whole group session. We had a bunch of people partying. We were watching it, and then it wasn't. It was horrible. It was a horror movie, man. And they did basically. I don't know if we should explain that on this space. What
We'll just
actually
that's all
happened?
right. We'll
Was
just
it the one where
say
the chick crawls out of the TV and she just starts like chasing
No,
you
it's
around the
even
room?
horrible. It was one. I guess I'll tell you this: the dude was
there's
getting beat
15.
black and blue, right? And then they had a tool, and then the tool was being
Dude.
used for the guy.
It
Put
was
the
All
guy
right.
going
in
in
his
his
manhole,
thingy.
and
You asked me to stick around for this?
I'm sorry, Gold, but you got that cute little seal,
So
man.
back to my thing. I'll switch it real quick. What I think that we should work on in Web3 and everything we're doing is harm reduction aspects of it. Right? There's so many people that we can help with this tool and putting it, just giving them the information on it. That's priceless, right? And that doesn't even matter about how much the NFT would cost, but the utility behind it. And that's all I really think in my realm. What I would like to see more of is like lessons on how to people that are abused. I hate putting that away, and I'm sorry for anyone that has been. But how to cope with that and stuff, right? Having kind of a silent way that they can have therapists like talk to them about it and things. All the way to the people, let's just be real, that are pedophiles, right? That are having weird feelings and urges and stuff, and being able to get the help they need before they make any mistakes, because that's sick. That's something I would never want to touch. I wouldn't even want to talk to anyone about it. But it's all shit you can do on the blockchain, and one NFT could mean many of things. But that's all I gotta say. Trying to switch it.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Max. Mine, I appreciate that, bro. You know, I guess if hey, what up? What up, Queen D? Just coming
Hey,
up on the stage at the last minute.
sorry, I just had to add something in. Because to me, harm reduction isn't just limited to the women, it's children as well.
So you
And I
mean
would like
like the age
100%,
verification?
1000%.
What's that?
You mean like more of the age verification stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Keeping children and the away from the visuals that we know, I mean, even young children are seeing nowadays in just the mainstream. So that's my main goal in this. I mean, I'm back here driving slim, but you know, we try to keep it moral around here.
I'll just tell you one thing. I just want to mention this first off. Being in that booth of your guys's, it felt like such a safe space. I'm not just feeling that because I'm a part of it. I'm saying that, right? But I felt that a lot of people felt that too. And that's the biggest sense of harm reduction, is being a leader, is by leading and you don't even know it. And you're just having a good time. So I'm blessed that you all doing this. That's what I'm
That's
saying.
so ironic you mentioned that in the way you said it, being a leader without knowing you're a leader, because I've been told that my whole life, that I just naturally lead and I'm naturally shy and, you know, don't speak out and kind of stand behind Slim a lot of times. But I'm trying to come out of myself a little bit. That's why I really enjoy PolyAnnie, because I mean, listening or just watching her posts and stuff, she inspires me. Because I mean, going to Exxxotica opened my eyes a lot to my sexuality, and I haven't really embraced that. Always been in monogamous relationships, and you know, it's just a part of myself that I've never considered before. And I really applaud her for that, because she's opened my eyes to a lot.
Yeah, and last thing too to add is, so when we went to Chicago, we met this woman, Kate Oliver, right? Got to give her a shout out. She's a world best-selling author, best friends with all these huge stars, right? But we started diving in, and Shaggy was hearing some of the questions I was asking this woman, like, why did people end up coming so fast? Like all these different questions that were so basic, and yet once you got the understanding, you're like, whoa, okay, that makes sense now. Like that's all people need. So that's one thing I'm noticing is that like good therapists like Kay Oliver, a session is probably going to cost us a fortune to be real. But having an experience of what we're creating on this chain, you can basically save thousands, millions of lives all around the world in any language. That's all I wanted to add.
Oh man, I
Dude,
love that.
honestly, I was about to delete my OnlyFans account like maybe a month ago. In the day I was going to delete it, I have this longtime follower who I gave a free trial to, and he never claimed it, and he finally claimed it. Like the day I was about to delete my OnlyFans, and he kind of struggles, and he's a bit suicidal sometimes. And the feedback I got from him, he was like, this like just makes me feel good and it makes me want to live. And I'm like, I'm not deleting my OnlyFans now. I did a complete 180 just in that moment. And then I had someone else tell me that porn and, adult content creators save like more lives than, than what we understand that they do. So yeah, I really feel that there's a lot of good that's done. And it's
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
people. It's helped me. It's helped so many people. Like,
Yeah, I think until you go to one of these exoticas, it's hard to imagine that, because you don't really have a connection with the people that are doing the porn, or you know what I'm saying, are actually doing the content creation. But that's a place you actually get to meet with them, feel their vibes out, and kind of see more what they're all about. And you start to kind of feel more empowered about it because you realize, like, hey, these are like people just like me. This isn't just like this person that, and hey, okay, some of them, yeah, they're up on a pedestal and you can't really interact with them, but that's not the majority. That's the one-offs. But
That was my experience, Slim, is that
Using it
actually going to these exoticas and getting to interface with some of these creators. My first thing I was shocked by was, first of all, how approachable and kind most of these people are. And then I realized the problem. And it was a glaring like alarm in my head. I was like, oh my God, that is the problem. My problem is people, like myself included, assume automatically that because of the line of work somebody chooses or is in, they have some sort of, oh, this must be a bad person. Man, that was just entirely ignorant. It's just ignorant bias. That's all it is. Because you go and you meet these people, and some of them are the kindest people I've ever met in my life. I had actually dropped a comment down below talking about Sarah Lace. Sweetest woman ever.
oh
Every
my
time I've
God,
ever
right?
met her, just the sweetest. And it's like, man, talk about feeling safe, There's a reason I think so many of these creators tend to be drawn towards Slim and our team, and it's because it doesn't give them that sort of like concerning feeling. People don't have to have their guard up as high. Slim is very upfront and transparent. And then Mama Slim, I know you don't maybe feel like this, but you are incredibly powerful and have been a big driver behind a lot of the improvements we've been able to make. So just keep doing that. You also make it a much more comfortable and open space for female creators. That is very important for us because as a mostly male team, that has been a big thing, a big challenge for us. We just want to make sure that we don't overwhelm any female creators or, just take over the energy of the room. We want to let that feminine power and energy flow. So, Polly, kudos to you. You're a very powerful woman as well. Just keep passing that on and keep educating these other women. You're essentially unlocking the power of half the world right now. So just keep doing that.
oh yeah, thank you, Shaggy. Well, I'm gonna go ahead and land the plane here, and I never took my turn on what I want to see out of the next year, so I'm gonna take this chance to do that here real quick. I want to see some standards form around adult NFTs. So some of the stuff that Gold Rush was talking about earlier where other platforms can read NFTs that are released by other people, et cetera, and it's all interoperable. I want to see those standards formed, not just on Cardano, but start to be formed within every blockchain. So we're all working towards a standard that can be interoperable. So the early newcomers, people like Poly, aren't releasing NFTs that can't be used in the future by the platforms that come along later. If we create these standards now, we're gonna make it a pretty smooth transition as things continue forward. And alongside that, I want to see these collaborations that Poly is beginning to put together, come to fruition, where some of us who have certain skills actually start forming partnerships and building with the others. Because as we've reiterated a few times, we're not going to change the world if we're all just off in our own corner doing our own thing. And, I think that's the whole ethos that draws a lot of people to blockchain, is that they see that there can be a different way to do stuff, and they're 100% behind it. A lot of it's liberty-minded people. So with that being said, I appreciate everybody coming by the space. Thank you, everybody, for showing up. Shaggy, Polly, Mind, Gold when he left, my beautiful wife, Queen D, Cavelli, Mike, Atomic Blonde down there the whole time, Hakeem, So Liddy, Mazla G, Romeo, the producer. Go check out some of his music with So Liddy, Lucas, and Mick Jacuzzi. Y'all have a wonderful Friday. Peace.
Bye, y'all. Thank you so much.
Peace.